1992, I was senior pastor here at First African Methodist Episcopal Church. When the Rodney King event occurred, we had planned on the day of the verdict that we'd all meet here at First AME Church. In great disappointment, the place was flooded, some 2,000 people inside, upstairs and down, and another 1,000 or so outside. The mayor had just finished addressing the crowd when an usher came and got me and brought me out. Said, "I want you to see something." And he pointed to the horizon down south, and there were fires. So we knew then that our plans for deterring were too late. We took 150 men, and we aligned the streets adjacent to the church, and there were about 150 young men out there throwing stones at the firemen. Well, we stood between the gangs and the firemen, but there was a line of police who insisted on attacking the young men throwing the stones. We said, let us handle it so it won't get out of control. But they insisted and formed a line and started moving towards the gangs. We ran and got in front of them and worked with the guys, went behind the houses where some of them were hiding and all, and we stayed another 3 hours to about 1 o'clock that morning. Then we started going and bringing people who had been burned out into the church, and we kept them there for 3 days until the Red Cross arrived and took them over. We stayed open for about 6 months, 24 hours a day around the clock, trying to find a way to bring peace, harmony, and restoration. There was the story of the wise man who sits on top of the mountain and the young lad who wants to make him look unwise. So he approaches him. "Wise man, I hold in my hand a bird. Tell me, is this bird alive or is it dead?" The wise man knows that if he says the bird is alive, the young man will close his hand and crush the bird. If he says the bird is dead, the young man will open his hand and let the bird fly free. The classic response, "It's in your hands, my son." That is the question. L.A., where are you? But then as I think of Langston Hughes, the black poet, and the question he asks, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or does it explode? And all too often, the dream explodes. It exploded in 1965. It exploded in 1992. It can explode, and it will explode if we don't change the direction in which we're going. Our question is the question of the Statue of Liberty on Bedloe's Island, Lady of Freedom, asking us, her children in America, aren't you getting a little old for this? Yes, yes, Mother Liberty, we are.